The second Deathgrave album is called It's Only Midnight,
Yep.
and it will be released through 10 Crimes on the 14th of April of this year, 2023.
Yes.
When did you guys actually start working on this album?
Ooh, we started working on this album as soon as Clint joined. We started writing right away. And it took a couple songs for us to find our rhythm with Clint, just because it was a new person in the band to find what works to make a sick song. And the first songs we did are good, but the songs we are writing even now they're just getting better, in my opinion.
Did you go into this album wanting to do anything different or wanting to try some new things?
Yeah, we definitely wanted to be a little more grind, a little more aggressive, and a little weirder on the other end in terms of the noise elements. And Andre wanted to go more like impetigo and stuff. So we just kind of jammed in there that way.
Okay. And as far as Andre's contributions, is he? Would you say that he's taking a lot of influence from one genre or another?
Definitely mostly metal, death metal, but some punk too, for sure. Those mids does and the yells, like his musical background is extensive. He's like a walking encyclopedia of music.
I mean, maybe it's the the autopsy connection, but some of his vocals remind me a little bit of Reifert, except not as Reifert gets very out there sometimes with his phlegminess,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Andre seems to come from like a similar school of like you know kind of guttural, not quite a deep growl, not quite a rasp, but somewhere in between.
yeah. He's definitely influenced by Chris. I remember the first time I went to Maryland Death Fest, and I was hanging out with Andre, and Chris walked by, and Andre was like squealed like a little girl, and I was like, "What the hell?" And, yeah, and then like Chris walks by, he's like, "Hi, Andre," and Chris is like, "Hi." Andre's like, "Hi," and like I guess Andre was pen pals with him when he was like 15. So definitely a big influence. But now that Greg's in autopsy, Andre's like, I cannot do that. Like I have to.
I mean, I would judge, but about, let's see, 9 hours ago, I was speaking to Shane Embry,
Oh, sick.
who I had pictures of on my wall for like 10 years. So I
Right,
definitely
right. And
understand yeah.
yeah,
Sometimes you never lose that fanboyness, even if you're 44 years old.
yeah. And these people are like seminal creatures. They're like forces of nature, and they still are. Like Shane Emery and Chris Reifert, they're amazing. And they're for real. They're good people. I mean, I know Chris is, anyways. I don't know Shane Emery, but I know like they're legit.
Yeah.
Better than some priest.
No, it's funny because like a lot of these guys, and I don't know any of them personally. Like I get to speak to them on this podcast, but they came from a time when the separation between the fans and the bands was so minute. It was basically all a bunch of teenagers writing letters and trading tapes.
Totally.
Yeah, and so most of them I find are pretty down to earth, and they've all got some great stories from the old days.
Yeah. I mean, there's something that drew people to metal, right? Like it was hey, we're aware that we're gonna die and our friends are gonna die and this world's fucked up and like let's get together and have some fun, like with that awareness.
Since we were talking about death, I know that this isn't your department, but do you want to say anything about the lyrics and some of the themes on this album?
Oh, sure. I mean, Andre writes most of the lyrics, but and he blew it out of the park on this record. I'm really proud of him in terms of that. But some of them we collaborate on a little bit, and we collaborate on the ideas together. For some of them are band jokes that turn into songs. But he's definitely overall dealing with like like I would almost say addiction, but like, like the 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 gnarliness of existence and like how you deal with it. Also, he writes these lyrics like he imagine like he's like a cartoon character, and he's read so many graphic novels and comics, like so a lot of his the lyrics take place in this imaginary neighborhood in his mind. So like he's kind of constructed this overall neighborhood, and with both of our records, where these things are taking place, at the bars or on the streets. And it comes from like stories he hears from his friends or experiences he's personally had. And the artwork kind of like Max kind of incorporated a lot of elements in there with like the city, with these neighborhoods.
So the album cover with like the big spider that's like about to eat the city.
Yeah, it's this what do you say, transdimensional like outer space monster coming in, and this is what we were imagining, and it's like fracturing time and space, and like it's only midnight. It'll be perpetually midnight or not, because time and space are like going away, and so it's definitely an otherworldly element monster coming into this neighborhood.
Okay. So the title "It's Only Midnight" refers to time standing
Yeah,
still or time coming to a close,
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, we turned it into that. It could be so many things. We had so many ideas with it. It started with like Andre and my friend were I think they were trying to leave or something, and I was like trying to hang out, and they're like, it's midnight, and I was like, it's only midnight. Like that means we got tons of time to party, But kind of started with that, with us laughing about that, and then it turned into whatever it is now.
So let's talk about the recording of the album.
Okay.
I'm assuming getting time booked at Earhammer wasn't a problem.
Cut out again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I made a bad joke, and Zoom decided to ignore me.
Oh no, sorry, but or maybe but but did you say you assumed that getting time at Earhammer was easy to do?
Yes, yes.
It was. Imagine that. It was actually a time during the pandemic.
Oh, you recorded this during the pandemic?
We did. I mean, it's still the pandemic, but yeah, during lockdowns and stuff, we did.
Okay. At what point during the pandemic?
Well, we started it. Oh gosh, I feel like an idiot, but I think we started it in, let's see, it's 2023 now. See, time is fractured. Like the last 3 years are a weird blur. I think we started it 2020, 2021. We started the drums. Greg was tracking at that point because the studio is a little smaller. Everything was so crazy in terms of an airborne virus. So he was tracking at the Great American Music Hall. Our friend was the manager and had him so he could track bands there because the ceilings are really high and it's open. It was much safer. So we went there and Clint tracked his drums there. And it was really cool because Greg got microphones like up on the balcony. And so we can get really big overheads on that. And the drums sound killer. The drums sound really killer on the recordings he did for slower bands because of that space that they got for grindcore. I don't know if it was absolutely necessary, but it worked. Then we brought the tracks here, and Greg and I did our parts, and then Andre did his vocals a couple months later.
Okay. As I mentioned, a lot of the bands I speak to have worked with Greg. I'm curious, would you say that Greg's approach in working with his own band or his own bands is different than when he's working with a client?
A little bit. Greg is a genuinely nice, creative guy, and he works with very proficient bands. He definitely has some high standards with our bands. Like our old record, I definitely cried during tracking. It was like because he was do it again. Do it again, just like be perfect. But this record, all of us were so prepared. It was actually really chill. I think it's just different in that he's like emotionally and more invested. So it was really cool when the day he like did all his guitars. it was like so intense because he like practiced and practiced and practiced, and then he tracked, and it was sick. Like his performance was really, really good on that. And then he just like laid in the kitchen, just like, yes, like so relieved. He wouldn't do that with a different band.
I mean, it sounds like the stakes are higher for him for Deathgrave than
Yeah.
maybe somebody coming in.
Yeah, we built this band up from scratch.
Right, right,
So he's definitely invested in it.
right. I'm curious, how would you describe Greg's approach as an engineer? I know a lot of people are very much about capturing the live intensity of a band, or some some engineers are just like to hit record and capture whatever happens.
He definitely is into the idea of capturing a specific moment and not overworking things. Like where some bands will come in, it's kind of it's not common, but they'll come in and then they'll like overthink things and rework things and then change stuff and then so much that it becomes like a whole and then they like it takes a long time and it kind of sometimes loses the magic of whatever that moment was, right? If they're trying to perfect it, but take away that thing that happened there at that moment. So he definitely is into capturing a moment, but he's very into like the most important thing is the musician's performance and capturing that. And so the primary thing is being prepared when you come in, and then but man, Greg is just really chill. He's fun. He's not never trying to put anyone down or be mean or anything like that. And he's comfortable to work with.